It is July 10th, and I am here with your geopolitical news. Al Jazeera reports deadly Israeli strike on school turned shelter in southern Gaza. At least 30 Palestinians have been killed after Israel bombed a school housing displaced civilians in Khan Yunis. Once again, now this is at the same time that there's supposedly peace talks, there's supposedly a ceasefire talks in place, and this is all happening simultaneously. So the question that we all must ask ourselves, how much is Israel really concerned about peace? How much is Israel really concerned about the safety, the care, the security of the Israeli people? Because the military action and the military campaign that's being carried out in Gaza right now, I can almost assure you that it is ensuring the ultimate demise of the Israeli people. You know, I keep saying to you time and time again, I very well don't see how Israel set a course to destroy Hamas. You set a course to destroy Hamas because of the actions that were taken on October the 7th, 2023. And so this is the course that you've taken, but you see the problem with the course that you've taken is your tactics that you're using to complete the task that you say you're trying to complete. It is causing utter destruction, death, and mayhem inside of Palestine. So for you to inflict such pain, such hardship on a people, what is your expectation of the survivors of this group of people that you're inflicting this hardship upon? Do you not think, or do you not fathom that the survivors themselves are potential Hamas recruits? Do you not see it? I've said on many different occasions, there are certain journalists, certain Al Jazeera journalists, certain members of the press whose, if not their entire family, it's almost close to their entire families being killed in this conflict. And these are individuals that are members of the free press. And so, you know, in covering these stories and these topics, I have conversations with my wife. And I asked my wife, I can't imagine what would happen or what I would become if you and my children cease to exist in some type of bombardment or some type of attack. Totally wiped out in one instant. What would I become? What would I feel? These are questions that, like I said, these are questions that plague my mind. These are things that I think about. My heart goes out to these people because I wouldn't be connected to the human race if I didn't feel pain, if I didn't feel the suffering, if I didn't feel some attachment to these people, then I would go as far as to say that I am not a human being. In other geopolitical news, Al Jazeera reports Russia blames war on NATO as it pounds Ukraine, demands territory for talks. Moscow tells the world it is open to talks if Kyiv cedes territories Russia has invaded as NATO summit kicks off in the US. So, as I've been saying from the beginning of this conflict, and there seems to be a little video right here. I don't know if I'm gonna play it for you guys, but as I've been saying from since the beginning of this conflict, Russia is totally destroying Ukraine. And the only way that Russia will stop doing what it's doing, its military campaign inside of Ukraine, is if the application to join NATO is completely off the table. You see, because there will be no peace talks, there will be no ceasefire, there will be no other resolution to this conflict if that is not off the table. Because Russia will not allow NATO to keep moving closer and closer to its borders. Now, I've been saying this since the beginning of the conflict, and I've also been saying that I believe that Russia has all right to feel the way that it feels. I believe that Russia has all right to have invaded Ukraine because of the tactical nature being engaged with the United States of America and other Western powers. They were being very tactical and strategic in trying to get Ukraine to become a part of NATO. They were being very calculated and strategic as it relates to NATO expanding. And these are promises that were already made and promises that were already broken. These are promises that were made to the Russian people. And these were promises that were broken by the West and its Western allies. So you can almost bet your bottom dollar that this conflict will not resolve itself unless the application for NATO to accept Ukraine is off the table. Right now, I'm on a YouTube platform. This is a CBS New York exclusive. The title reads, Exclusive video allegedly shows man dragging woman's body in bag down NYC street. Now, the woman whose body was being dragged, her name is Yasmin Williams. She was a 31-year-old female who was found in, I believe, a sleeping bag or something of that nature, and next to trash, next to garbage. Now, I've been kind of viewing this story for a couple of days now, like kind of looking for details to come out or whatever may have you. I seen the video where, residents, loved ones of this female, um, they were basically waiting outside, I believe, where the police were bringing this individual out at, and there was a little disruption. The individual was said to be, or said to have been, wheelchair ridden. I really didn't understand the details of it. He was supposed to be in a wheelchair. I don't know if he uses a wheelchair. I don't know if he's bound to the wheelchair or if he just uses the wheelchair to get around and he's able to walk and he's able to be mobile. I don't know those details, but from this video that I'm about to show you guys, it looks and it appears as if this individual is wheelchair bound, like he cannot be mobile or operate outside of the wheelchair. So in my mind, I couldn't conceive how this individual would be able or capable of committing such a crime until I seen this video that I'm about to show you guys. So I'm going to play the video and then I'm going to give a reaction to the video.
We begin with exclusive new video in the murder investigation of a woman found dead inside a trash bag in Kips Bay.
It comes as police have charged a man in connection with the killing. Right now, he has not been arrested for the murder, but for concealing a corpse. CBS 2's Lisa Rosner is live outside the police station in Kips Bay with that new surveillance video. Lisa.
Well, Christina and Dick, that video.
So he hasn't been arrested for the murder at this time, but he has been charged with concealing a corpse.
Just adds to the pain of how casually Yasmin Williams' body was tossed to the curb. Police tell us that 55-year-old Chad Irish could be facing more charges tonight. Exclusive video shows a man in a motorized wheelchair casually dragging what appears to be the same trap.
Now, I'm going to stop it there because, as I said before, I was trying to fathom in my mind how this would even be possible. But now that I see this video footage, him in a wheelchair, what appears to be her body, and it's inside of a bag, sleeping bag, or some bag of some type of nature. And they said that he had her on a dolly. So it is clear to see how he would be able to do such a thing because he's in a wheelchair, which is on wheels, and the dolly is on wheels. So now you see exclusive footage of him actually carrying out the transportation, the moving of her corpse.
Trash bag that 31-year-old Yasmin Williams' lifeless body was found inside of, wrapped in a sleeping bag. Friday, police responded to a call of a suspicious package on 27th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues. The medical examiner ruled it a homicide, saying Williams was shot in the head. The spot where she was discovered, now a growing memorial.
Yasmin was really a caring person. She was energetic. She knew people around the neighborhood, so she was very loving. So it's pretty sad.
Tuesday, members of the NYPD crime scene unit went to collect evidence from the apartment of 55-year-old Chad Irish, who now faces 1 count of concealment of a human corpse. Sources say the charge stems from him being seen on surveillance video dragging the body, and they are also trying to determine if the murder happened in his apartment. Police sources say Irish, who is on parole, is a prime suspect in the murder.
Now that video where they show him on the gurney being lifted into the ambulance, that's the video I seen where it seemed like people were so distressed, they were so emotional, they were really trying to attack him, and the police were protecting him, and they were doing a very good job, I might add, because I don't think that in some neighborhoods, if this individual in that same scenario would have happened, I don't believe that he would have made it out.
Definitely should deserve him to be in jail and locked up. Doesn't deserve to come home or none of that.
You feel like it was him?
For sure. Definitely.
How come?
He was always with her, so it definitely got to be him.
Do you know if they were dating or if she was living there or anything like that? Or?
Not necessarily, but I know he would bring her home. Like she would go to his house. Yeah, I just know he could be abusive though.
His outrage was shared Monday night. A crowd erupted, attacking Irish as police pulled him out of the building on a gurney and confiscated his dog and wheelchair. Police sources add that on Monday, before his arrest, he allegedly menaced a man with a gun during an argument. So he faces menacing and weapon possession charges in.
So before his arrest, this same individual was, I don't know if he was seen, but he was said to have brandished a firearm, pulled out a firearm on somebody, pulled out a gun and had it in their face, or I don't know what he was doing with it, trying to scare them or whatever the case may be. But the same individual, maybe the same firearm that killed this female, that's all speculation, that's allegedly. But This individual was brandishing a firearm shortly before he was arrested, days before he was arrested.
That case too.
I don't know if this is the actual killer, but how inhumane you're dragging down the block somebody's daughter. You know, he should be lucky that the police got him before that community.
And that is exactly my sentiments as well. The man needs to be very, very lucky that the police were able to retrieve him and get him out of that neighborhood before that community was able to get a hold of him. Because as I said, I can almost guarantee, because of the emotions and because of the hurt, the pain, I don't believe that this individual would have made it out of that community. This is a very sad story. As I said, her name is Yasmin Williams. She was a 31-year-old female who was killed, murdered, stuffed inside of a sleeping bag and then into a garbage bag and then dumped on the New York City sidewalk with trash like she was. Very sad and heartbreaking story. In other geopolitical news, staying on the YouTube platform, surveillance video shows shooting from inside Bronx McDonald's. Eyewitness News reports. So now I watched this video. It's a very disturbing video. Nonetheless, I'm going to show it to you guys, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts after we watch the video.
The video obtained exclusively tonight by Eyewitness News should outrage you. It shows two boys, just 12 and 13, having dinner at a McDonald's in the Bronx when a man in a mask walks up to them, pulls a gun, and opens fire. They fall to the floor as he runs away. Then, amazingly,
You know, as I watched this video multiple times. And, I always remind you guys that not only am I a married man, but I'm also married with children. And so watching this video, 12 and 13-year-old boys sitting in McDonald's having a meal, to see what we're seeing, to see what we're witnessing, it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing because as a parent, I think about my children and I think about the fact that they could be anywhere. They could very well have been these same boys inside this McDonald's. And like I said, watching these things, seeing these events happen, seeing these things take place, they disturb me, they shock me, but they also make me nervous. They make me nervous for my loved ones. Now, I can only imagine what the parents of these two boys, when they seen this video, let alone had to see them, visit them in the hospital or go pick them up and hear an account of what happened, but to actually see what happened and to know that they were that close to possible death. It's a very appalling thing. It's a very shocking thing.
they stand up and limp their way to safety. 3 days later, and with no one in custody, violence prevention groups gathered outside the McDonald's in the Allerton section, a neighborhood persistently ravaged by violent crimes.
It just pains me to have to stand here and talk about this again.
Bronx DA Darcel Clark joined the rally, all but begging the public for help in catching the shooter.
And this community is going to help us. I know it. I know it.
It happened Saturday night as the two middle schoolers were eating at a table. Cops say they'd earlier exchanged words with older girls who happened to have gang affiliations. One of those girls is believed to have called the shooter, who made a beeline for the McDonald's.
There's too many young people that think that the way to resolve issues is to pick up a gun.
And sadly, with this woman, I believe her name is Darcel Clark. Sadly, what she is saying is absolutely the truth. This situation could have been dealt with. It could have been resolved in so many different ways. I mean, they're so young, so this situation could have been resolved in so many different ways. Gun violence is something that you would definitely not expect to be the end result of a situation that stemmed from a dispute. And like I said, I can't imagine what the dispute was about. I can't imagine that the dispute was of any severity because of the ages of the boys. And I don't know how old the females were that they are saying that there was an argument with or an exchange with. But is what I can say is that if no one was harmed in that instant, if no one was assaulted, if nothing happened in that instant and words were just exchanged, then it is just despicable. It is a despicable act for someone to then turn around and contact someone else to go do something so foul, so egregious. So my sentiments about this is just that it's an appalling situation. It should have never happened. And things like this should not be happening. It's going to take the strong adults in our society of humanity to actually come together. And when I say come together, I don't mean in things like this. You know, as supportive of as I am, especially in situations like this, I support the community. I support the family who loved ones just suffered in this situation. But I also know that it's going to take more than just rallies after situations like this happen. It's going to take more than just rallies. It's going to take us being very mobile, us being very outside in these neighborhoods and these communities. It's going to take the adults to interject themselves into these situations. As fearful as you are, as nervous as you are, as scared as you are, it's going to take for you to relinquish yourself of those feelings for you to save our children. Another geopolitical news, Al Jazeera reports, I'll never see him again. Attacks killing aid workers in Eastern DRC. Since the start of 2024, more than 170 security incidents have directly targeted humanitarian workers, the UN says. After sunset, horrifying images began making the rounds on social media, showing the wreckage of unknown vehicles and the bodies of two people who were lynched, their bloody faces making them difficult to identify. Now, what they're saying is that these individuals who carried this out are M23 rebels. And this is going on in the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And so, another tragic situation. This is happening in Africa. So there's so many different conflicts that are happening all around the world right now. And so when I'm reporting to you guys, I'm reporting geopolitical news and current events. And so it is important that I give you guys information from all around the world. And so this is yet another incident that's happening in the DRC. And there's been conflict going on here for many, many years. And it seems like things are only getting worse. You know, I would say other geopolitical news, but staying on the same topic, Al Jazeera reports in connection with what I just read to you guys about what's going on in the DRC. Uganda backed M23 in DRC, Rwanda's de facto control on group UN experts. The United Nations report says the Ugandan army supported the rebels while some 3,000 to 4,000 Rwandan soldiers fought alongside them in the eastern DRC. So it's clear to see that this very same group that just carried out the attack that it just carried out is a group that is being backed by another country inside of Africa. This group is being backed by Uganda. The soldiers know this group. And so this leads me to believe that these things are all happening in conjunction with each other, meaning that these things are being collaborated. These people are collaborating with each other, and they are, in effect, acting out whatever they deem or see fit to act out, wherever that may be. Another thing that I've been reporting about is not only the coup d'etats that have been happening or taking place inside of Africa, but also the removal of the colonialist regimes from Africa, especially in places like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. So if you pay attention to what's going on and you understand the nature of these conflicts, it's not just the fact that the people are suffering under these colonialist regimes. It is also the fact that the leaders, their very own leaders, who are supposedly their very own people, are corrupt, bought and paid for by the colonialist regimes. So a lot of these conflicts have everything to do with Africa trying to free itself from these colonialist regimes. Africa is trying to free itself, but also at the same time, inside of Africa, you have traders. You understand? You have people that are your own kind that will be against you, that will fight against you. And this is just the nature of humanity and civilization on planet Earth. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the Street Icon channel on YouTube. That's Street Icon 8080, at Street Icon 8080 on YouTube. Street Icon 1 on all other social media platforms. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about the stories that you heard today. Any questions that you have, drop a comment in the comment section. And always remember, stay vigilant, stay safe. Peace.